Hey guys, this is Maffer with another Minecraft video. This is somewhat random, but I thought I'd just go ahead and make a video anyway. I have decided to start playing at a third server. So, as everybody who's been following my channel knows, I've been playing at factions.clowncraft.co.uk for some time, playing factions, and then also play.clowncraft.co.uk, the Skyblock server. And I've decided to add another server to my playlist. And for now, I'm not going to mention the server name, just out of respect for the Clowncraft servers, which I have enjoyed for a long time. But I thought I'd just go ahead and record and just share some of my thoughts around what's going on here with in the world of Minecraft and with how I'm playing and all that kind of stuff. So feel free to hang out with me if you like. So this will be somewhat abstract, but I'm building a new base on this new server, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what I like about this server. And just because I found that not all Minecraft and faction servers are equal, and I'm still learning about what makes for a good server and what doesn't. I've investigated a number of different servers in my time, and I've really just felt like I wanted to. Variety is the spice of life, so I do enjoy variety in my gameplay, and looking for fun stuff to do here. At the moment, by the way, you'll see I'm just collecting lava here. I'm working on a obsidian wall for this new base that I'm building, and you'll get to build it with me as we go. But here's some things that I really enjoy about this server, and one of the reasons why I've gone on it is first off the limited world size. So I'm a fan of factions, and I'm fairly new to factions. I've only played factions for a few months, 2 months I guess now. But what I like about it is I like the competitiveness and people going after each other, raiding bases, all those kind of things, and trying to figure out how your own base might be raided, and planning for that, building a base that hopefully can withstand at least some rating, other than more so than others out there. With a well configured faction server, I don't think any base is impenetrable. So you can't just hide forever, but you do need to be able to build a base that's tough and strong and can withstand some good attack, and at the very least causes those that might attack to think twice about it. And that's what I'm building right now. So let's talk a little bit about what makes a Minecraft server cool to allow that. And the main thing is for me anyway, is the limited world size. The fact that the world is limited causes players to kind of cluster together to some extent and to get in each other's way. And that's, for me anyway, part of what makes a Minecraft server fun, is to have a healthy competition between players, and to be able to fight it out, duke it out over limited resources. And I've been playing on a server where there's infinite resources, there's infinite world, and what I found is that it causes players to not really compete as much as I would like them to compete. I like to have a nice competitive server, all that kind of stuff. And because there's just endless land to expand onto, players just go out into the boonies, and that's the right thing to do. If you're playing on a world where there's infinite terrain, then the right thing to do from a strategic perspective is to just go and travel as far as you can possibly travel away from spawn, and then at that point go ahead and build your base, and you never have to worry about it being raided because you're so far from spawn. And that's what we saw with the Killer Clowns base on the factions.clowncraft.co.uk server, and it was something that I found I didn't enjoy, because I know that they created a base that was 320,000 blocks from spawn. 320,000 blocks from spawn. That's just an amazing, huge, long distance. And to the point where I did the math, and in order to reach that distance, assuming I knew where that base was, in order to be able to reach it to raid it, it would require something like 28 hours straight of running with a speed. I think I calculated it with speed 3, which I had some boots that were speed. They gave me constant speed 3 on that server from the custom enchantments plugin. And so it was just such a long way. It was, and that's a base that I knew of. It was actually a mine that I knew of. I didn't know the actual location of the base proper itself. So I can't say that it was in that same location, but the fact that the base could be so far away makes it effectively impossible to find. There's just no way you can search along that many thousands and thousands, actually millions of blocks in order to find a base. It's just not possible. If you do the math on that and you think about a circle with a radius of 320,000 blocks, I'm not going to do the math right now, but we're talking, tens, if not hundreds of millions of blocks, assuming that you know the y coordinate of the base. So, in other words, how deep it is. So, just an insane, huge amount of terrain to the point where it's effectively not possible. It's effectively impossible to find. So, I love this server in that the size of the world is closer to 400 or 500 chunks until you reach a world border. And so that requires players to actually build bases that they're going to have to defend at some point, not bases that are just so far away that no one will ever find. And if they do find, it will take them forever to get there. Because if it's too far away, essentially what you do is you add yet another grind aspect to the game. Instead of having a superior strategy or superior defenses or thinking through the way that you might be rated and planning for it and creating something superior, instead you effectively are just grinding your way to victory. And in this case, it's not a type of grind where you're grinding through skills or things, which are already somewhat grindy. In this case, you're actually just running or walking away from spawn. And by doing so, you're able to find a base, build a base that is undetectable, impenetrable, because of just how far away it is from the lands of the living, just anything else out there. So to me, I think that's a mistake in a faction server, and it makes me not want to play that. Because I like the conflict, and I like the raiding, and I like the defending, and all those sorts of things. So that's one of the things I like about this server. This server doesn't have all the plugins that I've come to enjoy on the factions.clowncraft server. That's unfortunate. I would love to have, in particular, custom enchantments. That's a really fun plugin, in my opinion. But though it is very powerful, and custom enchantments essentially makes it such that it's not enough just to have God armor anymore, because there's a rare, very rare chance that you can get some crazy cool enchantment that's going to cause you to have something that's even better than protection 4, unbreaking 3 armor, or whatever it might be, or some sword that is sharpness 5 and fire aspect 2, all those kind of God stuff as we know it. Instead, you might have something totally crazy and cool, like, for example, my man Intimidated, who has to make a showing in each of my videos apparently. He's got a bow on the factions.clowncraft.co.uk server that allows him to do a lightning strike. Yeah, actually a lightning strike on his target every time he hits him, which is just crazy cool and fun. And it's definitely overpowered, but it's so rare that suddenly you're terrified of losing that equipment. You really have to think about whether you want to use it or not, just because if you use it in PvP or whatever and you lose for whatever reason, then you've lost that piece of equipment and you're done with it. And someone else is going to have it and be able to do wonderful, cool, odd things with it. So anyway, that's something that I'll miss from the my time when I spend here. I'll miss that because I do enjoy that on the Clowncraft faction server. So, but other things I like about this, there's a lot of players. Now, just to give a sense for this, I just did a list, and as you can see, there are just tons of players right now. They have 122 players on the server right now, and a fair number of these players are experienced players. And that was a challenge that I had with factions Clowncraft, was that I found that I really wasn't being challenged. And there wasn't a whole lot for me to go after, to be honest. After when I first started playing, I was like, okay, let's see if I can make a bunch of money, and I did that, and I effectively dominated the economy there on that server. And I think last I checked, I still dominated. I still had probably 3 or 4 times the amount of money of anyone else. But beyond that, other players really didn't seem to have a sense for how to be able to crack a vault or otherwise conduct a raid against a fortified location. And to kind of prove that point, or to give the other players an opportunity to disprove that point, I made what I called a prize vault, which was a vault on that server where I told people the location, and I said, go ahead and crack it. When you crack it, you're going to get this stuff that's inside it. And after about 2 weeks, no one was really able to crack it until finally Dubstep Clown, the owner of the server, came along. He was able to crack it, and I'm sure Dub was able to. He's an experienced player and very good at factions, so that makes perfect sense. But given that the sheer dominance of my faction on that server, Afro Circus, I was turning lots of folks away who wanted to be part of the faction because we were already too powerful. And that brings me to kind of my third point here, which is that this is a new challenge for me. And again, I live for challenges. Those of you who know me know that I try not to take unfair advantages or even fair advantages. Sometimes I like to fight sometimes with one hand tied behind my back just to see if I can do it. And in the case of factions, what that typically means is that I will not take donor kits and things like that. I've donated to servers, but I've at times decided not to take the kit because I want to be able to dominate, to win without that perceived advantage that some people might say, oh, Mafra, you had some advantage over me. So that's just the way I play. And in the case of Afro Circus on the Clowncraft faction server, we were just so dominant that it was, really we had no rivals. What I found myself doing was creating false opportunities for people to become our rivals. An example of that, of course, is the prize vault, where it was just basically a vault that I set up to see if people could, actually raid us if they knew where we were. And what I learned was, essentially, no, they couldn't. Some, Dubstep Clown could, server owner, but other players on the server really were not at the level where they were able to do that. The other thing I found myself doing was once Afro Circus captured the end, which was one of the goals that I set for myself, then the end essentially became impenetrable if we wanted it to. It would have been easy as pie to just wrap the entire end in Obsidian, the end spawn portal, and then no one could have bothered us. We would have had an invulnerable position from which to conduct raids and all that kind of stuff. And it occurred to me that that really wasn't in the spirit, as I consider it, of factions to have an impenetrable location where you can do whatever you want and everyone else just kind of has to accept the fact that you're so much better than they are and completely protected. And so when I set up our spawn portal, or I should say that spawn platform, I essentially hamstrung it by making it possible for people with great effort and with lots of creeper eggs to break in. And Dubstep Clown was successful in doing so, which is great. I think it was a great effort on your part, Dub, if you're listening to this video. But I also realized that I was kind of faking. I was creating these hoops for players to jump through in order to make it interesting and challenging on that server. And ultimately, that's not really what I want to do. I want to have things that challenge me. And I just didn't find the gameplay on factions.clowncraft.co.uk to be challenging for me at the level that I'm now playing at. So those are kind of the main reasons why I've decided to. I'm not leaving the server by any means, but I'm just going to take a break for a while and try here. And here's a new field of hundreds and hundreds of players, thousands of players, really hundreds of players that are on at any given moment that are competing with me in a very limited space. Again, the entire world here has world boundaries that are set at about, I don't know, about 500 chunks or so, it looks like, maybe a little more, a little less. I think someone said it was 10,000 blocks is the world boundary. And so I just find that interesting because it causes us to come into conflict. And already, even though I've been on this server for about a week now, and I've been building this base and kind of quietly learning the rules of this server and the community and so on. And it does have a very nice community. I like that. I really like that about the Clowncraft server as well. I think that's the community is the absolutely the best part of that. But as I've been going through this, I've been kind of learning how things are going. And I've already been, my base has already been attacked once. It's been found, it's been attacked, and I've had to do my best to stave off the invaders. And the defenses of the base managed to do that for the most part. But ultimately, because the base wasn't complete, they did find a way in. And at that point, I had to negotiate with them and find out if there's a way to prevent them or to encourage them not to just completely destroy me because of they were in a position where they could. And that was a lot of fun too. It added a new aspect to the game where I was at a disadvantage, which I like being at a disadvantage. I know that sounds weird, but for those of you that know me, you know that that's the case. I like being at a disadvantage and trying to overcome that disadvantage in order to achieve my goals and win or hopefully even be dominant in a particular game or an environment. So that's been lots of fun with lots and lots of players on the server, and and players who are aggressive and who know how to play. It's been fun trying to stay one step ahead and do so. I'm on a real time constraint here. I am building this obsidian wall, and I'm doing it as quickly as I can because I know I'm going to get raided sooner rather than later. I'm taking shortcuts that I normally wouldn't do. For example, this whole place is not well lit, and occasionally creepers come up behind me and they blow up or whatever. And so I got to keep my eye out on everything. But I'm finding it to be lots and lots of fun to play in this environment where it's just challenging. So, those are some of the reasons why I like this. Now, I've spent some time on other servers, I think I mentioned, because I wanted to see what other configurations of gameplay were out there, what other communities are out there. And I found that there are lots of servers that are filled with just people that I don't really want to play with. These are what I would term prepubescent, whiny kids, little boys that are finally in an environment where they can use bad words and they can cuss up a storm and they can talk about penises and vaginas and all that kind of stuff. And so they're just so happy to be able to do that, and that's what they do, and they're excited about it. So that's fine. Okay, they can do that. But I don't really want to be around prepubescent boys. That's not what interests me about Minecraft. I like to play, against players that are respectable and respectful, and that provide a challenge. So that's what I'm looking for. I also found servers that were, I don't want to place that right there. I haven't been doing what I wanted to do here. I've been zoning out talking. I need to build down, otherwise I'm going to build an obsidian wall with a vulnerability underneath it. So I wonder how long have I been doing this? This is frightening. I may have to take out this entire obsidian wall because I was zoning out talking to you guys. This is the problem with recording and not paying attention to what I'm doing. But so going back to the, maybe I'll just dig down. That's what I'll do. I'll just dig down and go underneath of it. So yeah, this will be fine. So going back to the gameplay, I like the server I'm on right now. Again, I'm not going to mention the name out of respect for the time and energy and effort that I've spent on the Clowncraft servers. But the community here has been good. There's a lot of players, and there still are people that are whatever, disrespectful and immature, all that kind of stuff. But compared to some servers out there, I've been on servers where it was just completely and totally ridiculous. At least here they have rules against scamming and things like that, and I appreciate that. They're not always enforced, but moderators can only do so much. And so I like this particular server and the community that's on it. But there are other things that I've experienced. Like, for example, one server I was on, I guess their goal was to get as many players as possible in this one environment. And so they really, in my opinion, hamstrung the environment. So this was a server that had factions on it. But instead of kind of normal gameplay, like in a survival mode, none of the mobs actually moved. They were perfectly still. So what fun is that? You'd walk up to a creeper or whatever, and it would just be standing there. That I found rather odd and not very exciting, and just kind of took me out of my my suspension of disbelief. This other server that I was on, I'm not going to mention it, the name of it, but this server apparently limited the render distance on the server to 4 chunks. So you could see, and I tested this by altering my client's render distance. So what that means is that it would only you could only see 4 chunks in any given direction, which is just a crazy short distance. And you couldn't see things that are off in the distance, but I'm sure they did that to further improve performance. And I'm guessing that not only was the render distance only 4 chunks, but I'm guessing the chunk load distance was only 4 chunks. In other words, they probably only loaded chunks that were within 4 chunks of a player, which is, I guess, a way of cramming more players onto a server and improving performance. But ultimately, it made the experience I found to be rather lame. So I didn't really care for that either. So this server doesn't do that. I have full render distance, and also I can, travel around. I can do all sorts of things, and it's overall fun, good community. Now about world boundaries, I've also experienced different types of world boundaries, and I'd like to talk about that briefly as well, because not all world boundaries are equal. I've experienced at least 3 different types in my experiments out there and search for a server that I like. And actually 4 if you include the Clowncraft server, which has no world boundaries. It's an infinite world, just goes in all directions infinitely. least as far as I know. I think that's what Dubstep Clown said the server boundaries were set to. But in the case of this server, when you reach the border, uh, you just suddenly get teleported back, I think, like 2 or 3 blocks. And so you just kind of will find yourself glitching as you're trying to move forward and say, nope, sorry, you've reached the border, and you teleport you back 2 or 3 blocks. That was not a great experience in my mind. I don't really care for that. That's not, it felt glitchy. There were times when I would be down, at some certain depth, and when I got teleported back, it would teleport me super high up in the air, or things like that. Not up in the air, but onto the surface. Looks like I found where I started to zone out and put obsidian on top of blocks that I would otherwise like to cover or to replace with obsidian. Um, so my preference now is for some sort of world boundary, but not a world boundary that like this server has, which is I think less than ideal, where you suddenly get teleported back a few blocks. Now, another type of world boundary that I've experienced is one where the uh, the world just stops. There's just the void beyond where you're at, and I think that's not a terrible experience. A little bit frightening as you look over the edge, but so be it. And then a third world boundary I've experienced was where the map, if you went to the far, far west, it would actually teleport you to the far, far east. And if you went to the north, it teleported you to the south. So it effectively made the world kind of like a sphere. I think what you would actually be called is a toroidal map. And that was not a bad experience either. That wasn't too bad. But I think overall my favorite experience thus far is the straight uh, world just ending in a particular location, because it does a couple things. So because people can't build beyond that world's end, it means that corners are especially important, and they're strategic and valuable. And so the powerful factions are trying to claim the corner areas because they only have to defend 2 directions, right? They don't have to defend all 4 directions. They only have to defend 2 directions because 2 of the directions are protected by the end of the world. No one can build there. No one can attack there. That's kind of cool, and I like the fact that it causes the uh, the different parts of the world to be uh, not everything to have the same value. I think that's kind of makes it more interesting. Oops, that was a nice little glitch. But and so I like that. I picked up that last little bucket. Yay! Um, and so that's cool. And then I think probably the second tier factions end up trying to claim edge areas. And the edge is cool also because that's at least one side that you don't have to defend. So you only have to build walls on 3 of your sides. So I think that's also cool. And probably the weakest factions are off in the middle. Those are the players that don't really know how to play, or just new to factions. They're not the serious players who are trying to build a base that's highly defensible. So that's what I've found I like about the server configurations with world borders. I think it makes it just more interesting, the game overall more interesting. So yeah, so I just thought I'd share this. I'm working here on my base, and I'm having fun on this other server. Who again I'm gonna it'll remain nameless for the time being. At least I'm not going to call out the name. And just doing my thing here, enjoying some Minecraft, a little bit of variety in my gameplay, a little bit of spice, as variety is the spice of life, and learning what different types of servers are out there, and learning more about what I enjoy doing from a gameplay perspective. So thought I'd just chime in. It's been a while since I've posted a recent video. I think I posted a video about a prize vault update that was a little bit out of date. I actually made the video some time ago, but neglected to post it. So now I'm making this video, and I'll post this. And yeah, so you'll still see me on Clowncraft, both on the factions as well as the Skyblock server, as long as those servers are around. But I am going to be spending some time doing other things for the time being, and we'll see. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll drop another video in the not too distant future. Probably the next one will be from Clowncraft. And I may occasionally offer videos from this server as well as I build up my base and try to take on these bigger factions that are out here. I will say some of these factions are truly massive and truly frightening, and I like it. That's good for me. That's the kind of stuff that I like. I love a good challenge. So and I also like the fact that if I get attacked, I have a real reasonable chance, and if I get raided and destroyed or whatever, I have a real reasonable chance of being able to strike back because I know how to build fusion cannons. I know how to raid, and I know how to find bases, in a world that's not infinite. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you like this video. If you did, please like it. This is a little bit different for me, so I usually don't ask for things like likes or subscribes or things like that. But if you do like this video, please let me know, and I'll continue posting videos from this server that I'm playing on as well as others. Thanks everybody. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.